and hit record. And hey, everybody. Welcome. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jules, and I'm really excited to welcome everybody here. One of my very favorite things to do is to teach workshops like this. And when it's about nutrition and supplements, it's my jam. So super excited to have you here. And I really can't hardly wait to share the information that I have with you. A little bit about me. I've been in the wellness space, the natural wellness space for 40 years, which sounds like a really big number, but I am 63. So, I've been in the game for a while. And I really think that if more of us jump into this, I think that we can help people live happier, healthier, and more fulfilling lives. If we can just give them some tidbits of foundational nutritional information, we can change lives. We really, really can. So if those of you are here, if I can inspire you to jump in and share whatever you learned tonight with whoever you know, we can just cause a movement and change the world. So that's my intention here tonight. And my goal is to just spark some fire under each one of you so that we can go out here and create a real wellness movement using natural tools. So welcome to this workshop. This tonight is going to be everything about lifelong vitality and our supplement line. A couple of things that I want to just mention here before we get started. If you would please make sure that you're muted, that would be really, really helpful. I do my best to try and stay on track, but I tend to go rogue and start talking about things randomly. And if somebody's unmuted and I hear something, it totally takes my focus away. So if you could help me out and just make sure you're muted, I'd really, really appreciate it. I asked several of you who were here while we were trying to get things set up to record to introduce yourself in the chat. So if you have not yet done that, please jump into the chat, introduce yourself, tell us who invited you here and where you're coming in from. It's always fun to see that. And then I want you to know that if you really like what you hear tonight, or if you know someone who would be really interested in hearing this and they didn't jump into tonight's class, then we have links where you can share the replay with people. So you can find those in our private Facebook group, which is Good Vibes, if you actually have your doTERRA account. If you don't, you can go to YouTube at Haley B Essentials 4277, and you'll find the replay there. It's usually up within about 24 hours. So every Monday night, we do a workshop, and we just launched that last night, and it was an absolute hit. It was so much fun to be a part of. So just know that every Monday night at 5:30 Pacific, 6:30 Mountain, 7:30 Central, 8:30 East time, we are on there Monday nights, this same Zoom link. And we're also every Tuesday night here again, those same time zones, 5:30, 6:30, 7:30, and 8:30. And same thing on Wednesday nights. Wednesday night is an open roundtable discussion. So you can plug in to some pretty amazing information. So just know that you can do that. And we welcome and we invite you to share with everybody that you know. We're going to make a difference here. Okay, we have 8 of these classes on Tuesday nights. This is the list of them right here. This is class number 2, the Daily Vitality, Nutrition, and Supplements. Like I said, one of my very favorite classes to talk about and to teach. So I want you to know, it was on that last slide and I missed it. So I'm just going to hold this up right now. If you attend all 8 classes, Monday night or Tuesday night, and you text, and somebody can drop the phone number into the chat if you would please. If you text class number or the night of the class, the name of the class, to the phone number that somebody's going to drop in the chat, I don't know who's going to, but if you do that and you've attended 8 of them, you get this really cool recipe book that those of us who are leaders put together. And it just has all kinds of recipes, literally from helping with sore muscles to allergies to cooking recipes, whatever. And it's all about using doTERRA essential oils and doTERRA products. And this is just, like I said, it's a hands-on book that you get to have if you attended all 8 classes or 8 different classes. So know that you can do that. I don't know if somebody dropped the phone number into the chat, but please drop it in the chat. Okay. Bobby says that her audio isn't working. So can everybody hear me? Haley, can you give me a thumbs up? Okay, you can hear me? Perfect. Okay, thanks. It's on your end, Bobby. Okay, so this is what I want everyone to think about just globally right now. Why are so many people around us sick? I mean, we are a sick nation, basically. And do you think that it could be from the nutrition lacking in our food? Just out of curiosity. So think about those things. If you want to drop in the chat, whether or not you think this could be around our food, yes or no, that would be fun to see, because I'm a big believer that the basis of it is around foundational nutrition. Okay, go ahead, Haley, to the next slide for me. What creates disease or dis-ease in our body? This is something that we know from science. It's just science that disease or dis-ease in the body stems from these three things, or their top three: nutritional deficiency, too much inflammation in the body, and a toxic overload. Go ahead, Haley. I love this slide. I love this slide so much. And I would encourage you to take a screenshot of it so you can look at it and think about your health globally. Our lifestyle impacts our wellness. And if you look at this slide, you can see, we'll just start up in the upper left with that green. Whole foods, nutrition, and digestion is a big impact on our overall wellness. And we're going to go clockwise there. Regular physical activity. Sitting is the new smoking. We know that most of us spend way too much time in front of screens and not moving around. Reducing toxicity. We named that. That was one of the top three things that we know affect us and cause dis-ease or disease in the body. Stress management. Pretty much everybody is stressed. Everybody I know is stressed on some level about something. And then metabolism and how our body is aging. That's what that means. It doesn't mean whether or not you can gain weight when you eat something or not gain weight. Metabolism is all about how our body is aging from the inside at the cellular level on out. And then the last one is restorative sleep. And we all know too, that's a big deal. I mean, you go online, you go into any magazine, you read anything, and you see people talking about that we just don't sleep enough. And sleep is when our body heals. So if we're not sleeping, we are not healing. It's when our body does the cleanup process. So if we're not sleeping, we're not healing, and those cells aren't getting cleaned out and turned over like they're supposed to be. This is a great slide for you to keep in mind for yourself. This one's one of my very favorites as well. This study was back in 2013. So just know that if it was on the radar in 2013, it's even more so now. This was in the New York Times, and this was an article talking about breeding the nutrition. Oh my gosh, breeding the nutrition out of our food. The loss of these beneficial nutrients did not begin 50 or 100 years ago, as many assume. Unwittingly, we have been stripping phytonutrients from our diet since we stopped foraging for wild plants some 10,000 years ago and became farmers. And just know that this isn't about dissing farmers. That's not what this article was about. This is just talking about and targeting what happens when we started really growing food to feed masses. And the bigger we've gotten, the more food we've grown, the more we've had to hurry things up and turn those crops over and get the next crop in. And the more we've done that, the more we've depleted our soil and the less nutrients are in our food. That's just science. We know that's happening. So we're going to talk about lifelong vitality, which is doTERRA supplement line tonight. But I wanted to just bring attention to this slide because years ago, like I said, I've been in the industry for 40 years. And when I was growing up, I got introduced to supplements, that kind of thing, by a coach that I was working with when I was training for the Junior Olympics. And that was, at that time, it was like a one-a-day vitamin. And everybody, they thought you should do that. And those were based on RDA amounts, and they were really kind of poor quality. They had artificial ingredients. They had coating on them that, little did we know, they didn't even dissolve. They were going straight through us and out into the sewage system. So we went from that to high dose megavitamins, thinking that, well, if those weren't good, then more must be better. Let's just really load these up. And I don't know how many of you remember the great big horse pills. They smelled horrible too, but they were big. And those were just loaded with all kinds. They were mega multivitamins. But again, our body can only utilize so much of them. So we were just passing everything else, either in our urine or in our stool. We were just passing it out because our body couldn't utilize it. So today is state of the art. And state of the art is lifelong vitality from doTERRA. And we're going to jump into that here in just a minute. But I want to call attention to this slide, because if you look at the nutrient values there on that chart, and you look at the green and where you want to be, and that column that is outlined there at 100%, that's where lifelong vitality lands us when we take it. We get 100% of the value, absorbable nutrition from lifelong vitality, and we fall in that 100%. We're not outside that. We're not underneath that. We are right in that sweet spot where we want to be when we use lifelong vitality. This is super exciting. This was a 60-day clinical trial, and this was where we had subjects take doTERRA lifelong vitality supplements for 2 months. And they continued with their normal diet. They continued with their normal exercise program. They changed nothing except adding doTERRA's lifelong vitality to it. And so this is what happened. These were the results of this after a 2-month study. Number one, if you look over here on the left-hand side of your screen, statistic and significant improvement was found in blood lipids, fasting insulin, cardiovascular markers, reduced triglyceride levels in our blood, and in cellular inflammation. That was measurable impact. And then we saw positive impact also on biochemical indicators of our cardiovascular health, and antioxidants, in overall inflammation, and also in blood glucose regulation. So things were stabilized. And then overall improvement, the subjects all experienced better mental clarity, better energy, better motivation to get things done, better control over mood, everything like that, better balance overall, and just feeling better in their body. Now, if that can happen just from 60 days of regular use, what do you think happens if we do that every single day for infinity, for as long as we're here? We can only get better. It can only get better. Okay, nourish and fortify. This is this chart right here. If you look over here on the right-hand side of your screen, you see some breakdowns of what you'd have to eat to get the same nutrient value as you get from taking lifelong vitality. And the EWG, which is the Environmental Working Group, they found that most Americans are grossly deficient in major nutrients. And if you look at that, 51% of us, they found, are deficient in vitamin A, 43% of us deficient in C, 49% of us deficient in calcium, 95% in D, 94% in E, and 61% deficient in magnesium. So when we take lifelong vitality, which is a bioavailable supplement, it means our body knows what to do with it. There's no waste. There's no excess that's going out. It's taken, our body can uptake it and utilize it from the cellular level and right on out. If we were to eat all the foods to get that, you can see how much we'd have to consume over there on the right-hand side of the screen. And it would cost us about $900 in food to get that same nutrient value. Now, this isn't a license to eat like crap and expect the nutrient line to, fill in all the gaps for you. But if you're eating really good and you add these nutritional products to it, you're just going to get better. It's going to fill in those gaps of that good nutrition that you're eating and maybe the lack of nutrition that is in the food in general. This is going to fill in those gaps, and you're going to end up at that 100% mark where you just want to be in that sweet spot. Okay, I'm not going to read everything under that left-hand side of the screen where we're talking about the Xi-Omegas, the Alpha CRS, and the Microplex VMZ, but just know that this is a 3-part system. And what this system does is the Microplex VMZ is basically our multivitamin, our whole food nutrient supplement. And everything in there supports healthy digestion and metabolism. It's really targeted towards that. And then the Alpha CRS is about nourishing the cell itself individually, helping the mitochondria. For those of you who can remember back to science, and if you're a science geek like me, you know that the mitochondria are the little guys and the little hairs kind of in the cell. That's the energy of the cell. So alpha CRS helps fuel those little guys at the cellular level and helps the cells turn over and do the things they're supposed to do really efficiently. And then the omegas are everything about nourishing our cells, our organs, our brains. They support healthy hair, skin, nails. Omegas are something that all of us need too. And they're in a beautiful delivery system where they're in a little gel cap, basically, or a soft gel, and it's dark. So the oil is protected. And when we take that, our body can do exactly what it needs to do with it, and it knows what to do with it. So this is a 3-part system that works synergistically together to just help us feel better and to end up in that 100% sweet spot. We can't talk about functional nutrition without talking about our gut health, because again, if you're in the wellness space, or if you are watching anything on TV or reading anything or scrolling anything on the internet, you're hearing about gut health and what your microbiome does. It's called the second brain. It's where our immune system gets most of its juice from, is how healthy our gut is. So what kind of things damage our gut? Top things are stress, poor sleep, alcohol and toxins, sugar, antibiotics can do that, and processed dairy. Just know that processed dairy can really get you in trouble. So if you're a dairy user, which I am, but you want to look for raw dairy. You want to look for good, clean, raw dairy, because that's not going to upset your gut's apple cart like processed stuff and stuff that's been, had all the things injected into it to make it to the grocery store shelf. And so if we want to supplement our gut health, which I think everybody should be doing from that foundational point, we do lifelong vitality, and then we add these 2 supplements for sure onto it for daily vitality, daily nutrition, daily health. And the one is the PB Restore. You can see that picture of the little capsule there. That is called a dual encapsulation process. So part of it has kind of an oil in it, and part of it has something else in it. And those 2 things are absorbed at different times because they're a prebiotic, a probiotic, and a postbiotic. So they break down in different areas of our gut. And so this is a patented delivery system. So we don't lose the benefits in that digestion process. This is loaded with all kinds of good things. And then the product right next to it, you see, is Terrazyme. And this is our digestive enzyme. And this again is about fortifying and helping our body break down the nutrients from our food, get it where it's supposed to be, and then get the rest of it, the waste, move it on out. And these 2 together work beautifully when we pair them with not only one another, but with lifelong vitality. This is my must-have right here, lifelong vitality, and these 2. I don't go a day without it. Okay, let's talk about some additional supplements that doTERRA offers. I'm not going to break these down for you 100% either, but just look at this. And if you need to screenshot this slide, go ahead and do that. DDR Prime is everything about maintaining healthy cellular integrity, and it's done using essential oils. So all the oils that are in DDR Prime are just going to support the cell at that cellular level. It's going to do everything to keep viruses out of our cells, keep that protective layer around the outside of our cells. DDR Prime is your ticket. And just a fun little hack for DDR Prime: if you have cut flowers, if you throw DDR Prime, a few drops of DDR Prime in your flowers, your cut flowers, it'll help them last longer. It's kind of a funny thing. So you know that it's doing good things at that cellular level. And then Mito 2 Max is all about energy at that cellular level. So if you're somebody who likes to have an afternoon shot of caffeine or an energy drink or that kind of thing, but you don't like the shakiness, the jitteriness that comes along with that, or that's going to keep you awake, give Mito 2 Max a try, because this is going to give you that energy, give you that boost in the afternoon, and it's going to help your body burn things along, but it's not going to keep you up at night. It's not the same hit as caffeine or an energy drink is. It's actually a healthier hit for you to boost your metabolism and boost your energy level. Another supplement that I absolutely love is turmeric. I use this all the time, and I don't think, yep, we do. So the picture there on the bottom left, you see that capsule? It's another one that is in that patented dual encapsulation. So we have the oil from turmeric in half of it, and then the powdered form, which is curcumins, in the other half. And what we know about turmeric and the way it absorbs into our body is that we don't get everything that we want to get out of the powder, and we don't get everything that we want to get out of the oil. But if we put those together and use it basically as that whole plant, then the benefits are enhanced. So this for me is everything about helping my body deal with a little excess inflammation. And I have a chronic autoimmune thing, plus I've just had a lot of wear and tear on my body. So I love this product to just help support my body to keep that inflammation at a manageable and at a level that is where it's really kind of supposed to be. So that's a great one. If you have anybody in your life that has something like that, too much inflammation, think about turmeric. And then we have deep blue. This was my introduction. The oil was my introduction to doTERRA. And I'll tell you that little story briefly right now. I have been a practicing massage therapist now for 30 years. And way back in 2014, one of my clients who I worked on all the time, 1 to 2 times a week, and had for years and years and years, knew I used essential oils, had been using them. I'd been using them since I was in my 20s. She brings this little bottle of deep blue essential oil to me, asked me to use it. And I went, sure, not a problem. I opened that oil. I put it in my hands. I started working on this body, and I was blown away. Within minutes of starting to use that on her, this was a body that I knew really, really well. My hands knew where her trouble spots were. I started using that oil, and her body and her tissue started responding differently than they ever had before. So I was hooked. I was absolutely hooked. I literally went home that night and opened my doTERRA account and ordered my oil, ordered some deep blue oil and a bunch of other things too. Got rid of all my other essential oils. So I have a real soft spot for this whole deep blue line. And as a massage therapist, I love the deep blue rub. I love the deep blue and copaiba stick because that just enhances the copaiba in there, just enhances. It's excellent for pain. It's excellent for sore muscles. It's excellent for joints, everything. This line is one of my very, very favorites, and it's a staple in our house. And the beautiful thing about it is we can't take the oil internally, but doTERRA figured out a way to make this capsule, which is deep blue polyphenols. And this deep blue polyphenol capsule also helps our body. If we are weekend warriors, or if we go out and work in the yards shoveling snow, I know many of you have snow and you've been out shoveling snow, and you come in and your back hurts or your joints hurts or you're just stiff, pop a couple of deep blue polyphenols. They're going to give you that same benefit that the oil and the rub and the deep blue stick does. They're going to give you those benefits from the inside out. So you can use the other things topically and then get the benefit from the inside out with the deep blue polyphenol capsules. It's a great one to have on hand. It's a really great one to have on hand. Okay, we're kind of getting towards the end of this now. We've given everybody an overview here. So I want to just talk to you briefly about what's the best way to purchase. When you have your doTERRA account, your wholesale account, number one, you're going to save 25% off of retail just because you have that account. But know that if you put Lifelong Vitality, the system, that 3-part system in your cart, you can add on all of those things at the bottom of this slide. You can add up to 3 of them on at a really deep discount. Same if you see the MetaPower there, the MetaPower Advantage, another one of my very favorite products. And that, if you add that to your cart, then you get this drop-down box that says customize, and you drop it down, and all of these products at the bottom here, you have your choice of adding up to 3 at a really, really deeply discounted rate. And you do that when you order on your loyalty rewards. It's a great way to just maximize your savings and to earn points back. And if you don't understand what that means, if you're new here, reach out to whoever invited you and have them explain this to you. Because when I first started, I thought that loyalty rewards was going to rope me into something. And we're going to talk about it here in just a minute. But I thought it was going to rope me into something that I didn't want to be roped into. And once I understood it, I started ordering everything on loyalty rewards and getting these discounts on these products like this. And I started saving crazy amounts of money and getting points back to use for free products. So this is an overview of the loyalty rewards program. Many of you have, like for me, my local Safeway offers 3% back on your purchases, and you can use that toward gas if you gas up at the Safeway gas station. So Target, I know, offers a 2 to 3% if you shop at Target. Lots of different grocery stores, whatever, have these kind of cashback or loyalty rewards program, but I've not seen any that have the kind of percentage that doTERRA does. So when you start ordering from that loyalty rewards every single month, the first 3 months that you do it, doTERRA gives you 10% of your order back to you and in points, and you can use those kind of as cash. That's kind of how I look at it, as cash for purchasing other free product. And then months 4 to 6, continually ordering through your loyalty rewards program, you're going to earn 15% back. Then 7 to 9 months, you're going to earn 20% back. 10 to 12 months, 25%. And after that, you're going to do exactly what I'm doing. And I get 30% back of every single order that I place, whether it's once a month or whether I use that loyalty cart twice a month. I always order from my loyalty cart because I know that I'm going to get 30% back of whatever order I place that's over 50 PV. I'm going to get that back to me. And PV, it's an acronym, but just know, get with whoever invited you here. They're going to explain that to you. But that means I earn points back for free product every single month. And I love it. Absolutely love it. So just to kind of overview that really quickly, if I spend 100, if I have 100 PV, $100+ in my account, and I have 100 or my cart, and I have 100 PV there, every product has a point value, I get 30% of that back. So I get 30 points back to use on future products, on future orders for every $100 that I spend. And once you start to realize the value of that, and you realize all the different products that you can get from doTERRA, I get all my skincare from doTERRA because I know it's toxin free. I know that I can trust it. I get all my supplements from doTERRA. I get all of my cleaning products from doTERRA because I know they're toxin free. I know I can bring them into my home and I don't have to worry about toxic overload to my body. I get everything that I can from doTERRA rather than buying it from my local Safeway because they're only going to give me 3% back. I don't know for sure about the integrity of the products that I'm buying, but with doTERRA, I know I'm going to get 30% back now. And I know the integrity of the products is everything that I want. So learn how to use that cart. Okay. 3 ways to share doTERRA, and we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about this. We won't go into it deeply, but there are 3 ways to share with doTERRA. And doTERRA does now have a referral program, even for customers. When you log into your account, you have a link. You have an option to get a share link that you can share with friends. And when you do that, you're going to earn some points, a percentage of everything that they order on their first order. So it's just like any other affiliate program that you see out on the internet for anything else, but doTERRA is going to pay you. So learn to use that customer link so that you can get some free oils, get some free products. And then the other thing that we can do, second way that we can do, is we can actually earn a little bit of extra income. So we can share those links. We can encourage our friends to buy doTERRA products as well, encourage them to open a wholesale account, because why would you pay retail if you can buy wholesale? Why would you go to Costco and say, nope, I don't want to get the discount here at Costco or Sam's Club. I don't want your discount. I want to pay retail. With doTERRA, get a wholesale account. And so when you help your friends do that, you're going to earn there as well. And that just helps you get free product. And then you can do what I do, what Haley does, what Julie, I see Julie popping up into the chat here. And that is, this is another stream of income for me. This is another stream of income for all of us. And I personally think that we can all use extra streams of income. So you can actually build a business where not only can you get your products paid for, but you can learn to build a team. You can come in, do things like I'm doing here tonight and invite people to come in and join. And as your team builds, the more money that you're going to earn. And as your team grows, the more you grow. And it's a great way. I think that this has been one of the best self-development workshops that I've ever been in, is to build this team with doTERRA and to be a part of this team. So if you're into learning more, knowing more, sharing more, and helping more people, this is a great place to start. It really is. It's a great place to call home. Okay, that's it. If you want to scan this QR code, this is quick links to all of the classes, all of the things that we do as a team, and our team is called Good Vibes. So this is everything that we do as a team. And if you scan that, you can get all of those links. So if you want to stay connected, again, somebody drop this number into the chat, if you would, please. If you want to get a text reminder before each one of the classes, just text class reminders to 534-429-5392, and you'll get those text reminders. They will come to you automatically to remind you to jump in, because there's another class, there's another workshop that you can plug other people into and that you can plug into to learn more. You can access all of the recordings on Good Vibes on the YouTube channel, which is Haley B. You can see that there. Essentials 4277, or ask the person, like I mentioned in the beginning, ask the person who invited here to give you the links, and they'll give you the links and get you hooked up to that. And I talked about it at the very beginning, but when you watch 8 different Zoom classes and you text that you've done so to, when you text class to 534-429-5392 and say the number of the class or the topic of the class that you joined, then you've done 8 of them, you get this book. This is a really cool little book. I got to be a part of this, and this was a few years ago. We probably should do another one, but this was so much fun to just share information and share recipes and share little hacks and ways that we've learned to use our oils and recipes that have been really, really helpful to all of us. So that's how you get that. Now, next week is everything about metabolism and MetaPower. And I mentioned at the beginning of this that I love, love, love foundational nutrition. And for me, lifelong vitality is the foundation. And the next step on building a really strong body, a really strong house, is talking about our metabolism. So these 2 classes of everything are my absolute favorite. So if you want to know how your body works and how you can improve it and enhance your life, then you want to be on next week's class as well. And that is all about metabolism and MetaPower. And remember, it's always at 5:30 Pacific time, 6:30 Mountain, 7:30 Central, and 8:30 Eastern. And it's Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday nights. All right, that's what I have for you tonight. So we're going to open it back. Thanks, everybody, for joining. I appreciate you. I can't see everybody that's here. Oh, there we go. Now I can see everybody that's here. Thanks for joining. And yeah, if you have questions, jump into the chat. And I know that there were things going on in the chat, but when I'm presenting, I don't know what's there. So if we have questions, I'm sure that they got answered. But if there's something else, let's pop in. Let's do it. Let's have a conversation.
One of the coolest things that I saw in the chat at the end was, hey, I got my check today. Getting paid is awesome from doTERRA. That's one thing that I absolutely love is if you are enrolling people and helping people get their own wholesale accounts, they do something called a fast track bonus, which you can get paid every single week. I used to say, hey, the money truck's coming, because I constantly am enrolling people. Therefore, we get this fast track bonus for the first 90 days. And as the enroller, you get 20% back. And then after that is when we get our monthly paycheck, which you guys, over time, the more people that you serve and the more people that you show up and teach about how they too can get natural solutions that are affordable, that are safe, that people are reaching for. And more people are actually reaching out to me now going, hey, I know you've been doing this for a while. What's the best advice, or what can I use for this? Because this other stuff isn't working. And then, of course, we help them do that. And then over time, all of that adds up to where, I've been able to replace my husband's income. And at one point he retired. He's working now, but by choice, helping our kids. But, going back into doTERRA, I want to share with you guys a real quick story. Yesterday, I had a gal come in, and she's been in our doTERRA team for quite a while. And she buys eucalyptus and there's breathe and a couple of those things. Well, she comes in and she's like, I have been sick since Thanksgiving. I have this congestion in my chest, and she just sounded horrible. And she said, I don't really cough all the time, but I just can't get rid of this stuff. And I was like, oh gosh, I got you, and she said, I can't believe that it's taken me this much time to come in because I know that the stuff works. So we sat there for about, 15 minutes, and I asked her a lot of questions so that I could get a clear picture on what she was dealing with. And then I gave her solutions. And as she was standing here, I was having her put things on and smell things. And, I told her the importance of, with what she had going on, my biggest tip for her, you guys, was to get a mug of hot water and add essential oils, add honey to taste, stir it up really good, and sip on that. And she should drink at least 3 to 4 of those mugs a day. And, it was so fun watching her go from just going, oh my gosh, I don't think I can survive this anymore, because everything that they've given her, she said, I'm on my 4th round of antibiotics and nothing was helping. So here she is going, okay, nothing has helped. So do you have something? And of course we do. And I'm really excited because I wrote down a protocol for her. I, showed her the stuff. She bought a few things. She had a few things, and she's so excited. And I can't wait to hear her results, because I know without a doubt that she's going to have some success. And I love that by coming to classes like this. I mean, some of you guys, it's so fun to see you guys here with us. And whether you've been here, this is your first class or your 30th class or your 100th class or whatever, it's like every single time I prepare a class, attend a class, or listen to someone else teach a class, I learn something new. And I want to be able to help my friends and family. So I'd love it if anybody here has first of all, if anybody has a question, feel free to, raise your hand or just let us know, because we're happy to answer those. You're in the perfect spot because you got a lot of people who are essential oil enthusiasts here. Or also, if you have a testimonial of something that you've tried, especially if it has something to do with what people are dealing with in today's day, we'd love for you to share.
Haley, I'm going to jump back in here really, really quick and just remind everybody, it's like I said when I was talking about the loyalty rewards program. I want everybody to just go right back to the beginning of what I said when I started this class. And I said it last night when I started it. It is going to be my motto from here on out whenever I teach. We really have the tools and we have the products that can impact people's lives and that can change people's lives. We really do. We just have some solutions, and a lot of people don't know about them. They have no idea. They don't even have an idea about vitamin D and how important it is. And that's not even something doTERRA sells, but no one talks about these kind of things. So we need to talk about it and we need to share. It's our job to make a difference, because we can create a movement that changes people's lives and helps them feel better. So I wanted to mention that. And then there was a question, I can't remember who just asked it, but they just wanted your YouTube channel again. Haley, could you tell them what the YouTube channel is? It's Haley B Essentials, but then is it 4277?
I think it's 2477.
Okay.
It's in our QR code. If you go to the QR code, and we can post it in the chat in our Facebook.
Okay.
I just go to it.
I know that's me too. And I know you don't pay attention to it, anymore. You just go to it. So yeah. So check in the Facebook group, because the QR code will be there too. So just know that.
Also, you guys, I think that if I think of where I was in the beginning, so I was that person who knew nothing about essential oils, zero, zip, nada. But I knew about herbs. And so I naturally was open to, gosh, what else is possible, or what is possible with this? And then when I found out that they were, steam distilled and it was nothing added, nothing taken away, and all the things. And then I think of my health journey of where I was, where my family was, and with a book, Modern Essentials, or Oil Life book, it was like, that's where I was able to learn. And then I got into calls like this and started watching them. And I know our family has just dealt with so many things that now we get to share with others. And I think it's really kind of, and I'm going to quote Julie Staub from last night. It's it's, oh gosh, now I just lost the word. It's our duty to help others, especially when we know good and we get to do good and we get to promote and share with people. There was a time when I was a little bit held back on, gosh, I don't know, I don't want to bother people, or they're going to think I'm weird, or how do I even approach it? And now it's just like, no, you got to try this. And when people come to me, and Tammy's probably going to go, yep, sure enough, it's like, no, put your hand out, get it on, put it in your mouth, taste it, touch it, especially when they're around me right then in person. I want them to experience what is possible. And it's really a lot of fun. And I get really bossy, but then I always apologize and say, it's okay, I won't bother you anymore, but now you've at least tried it. Okay, Diane.
All right. Hi. So I have lots of testimonials in my back pocket, and every time I listen to a class, I'm reminded of a different one. So I'm going to share this one with you, and I don't have any scientific proof, but what I do have is my husband has colon cancer that runs on both sides of his family. So he is diligent about getting colonoscopies every 5 years because of that history. And every time he goes in, they remove polyps every single time. So when I found out about DDR prime, I came home and it was from a class, going to one of Haley's classes, because I was a groupie. And I came home and I said, you need to start taking this. And he just goes, okay, what's it for? And so I told him, he's like, okay. Well, the last time he had a colonoscopy, he had no polyps removed. Now, again, this isn't scientific proof, but there were no polyps. Yes, he has one scheduled for this year, he's telling me. And then he says that'll be scientific evidence. So thought I'd share that.
So awesome. Congratulations on that, you guys. Who else would like to share or has a question? Teresa, it's so good to see you and see your face.
I'm going to share just a little bit, just because this was random and it happened to me today. Just in case people don't know this, I shared it in my stories, but I had to have some blood drawn today. And I had seen one of the doctors on doTERRA's team somewhere in doTERRA share, I don't know, probably 2 years ago, I'd seen her share something about it. But she said, take balance, roll it on, like before you go in to have the blood draw, roll it there. It actually makes the process much easier and it won't bruise, all of those kind of things. So I thought, well, I'm going to try that. So I rolled balance on both my arms. I didn't know which arm they were going to take the blood out of today. So I rolled balance on both of them, went in there. They took it out of my left, just like that, found the vein, boom. It was easily done. The draw was great. They took like 6 or 7 files out of me. That was great. I got back out into the car and I also used my Copaiba helichrysum roller, which I made up when I had dental surgery here a couple of months ago. And I knew there was no bleeding anymore. I took that wrap off that they always put on. And then I took the helichrysum and I put it over top, helichrysum Copaiba, and I rolled it over top of it. I literally, you guys probably can't see it, but I have a red dot where she poked me, but 0 bruising. And typically I bruise. There's no bruising at all. So I just wanted to share that because I thought that was super cool. Number one, how easy it was to find that vein for the blood to be drawn. And then that I came home here, put helichrysum Copaiba on it, and there's not a bit of bruising. It's not even tender where she poked me. So I just wanted to share that.
Pretty cool. I know that some people will put the balance on before they're going to get their blood drawn, on purpose on wrists or whatever, because it pops the veins up. And I've seen people do that multiple times. It's really, really cool. It's so exciting. Okay, let's see. I don't know if Teresa could get unmuted. Maybe you could put it in the chat, Teresa, and we could read it if you want. And then we've got Regina. Whoops, sorry. Wait, who is there? Tammy, go ahead.
That's Tammy. Can I add on to what you're just talking about? Again, the balance, the experience with balance. My testimony is I too had heard about that. And I had my mother who has cancer, has to have blood draws on a regular. So a lot of times, they heat her arms up. I mean, it's a real struggle after going through treatments to find a vein. And because she's over 85 years old, And so we started doing the same thing, gave her a little roller, and before she goes, started saying, here, do this, make sure your arm's warm. And they've been pretty successful where they've blown veins. For those of you that know what that means, have had a hard time finding veins, but then also blowing them when she's gone in. So that for the past couple of years has been super beneficial. When she remembers, you know, super beneficial for her to go through all those things. So that's all. Just wanted to add to it.
So cool. So cool. And I think we could probably go from top to bottom and left to right and get balanced testimonials on how it's, you know, been so beneficial for each of us. Let's see, we have a comment that I'm going to read, then I'm coming to you, Regina. Let's see. So this gal says she had 6 polyps, 3 precancerous, and at her last colonoscopy, no polyps. She takes DDR prime, frankincense, on guard every single day. That is amazing. We are so grateful, right? I mean, what great news is that? Did Regina leave? Oh, there she is. Okay, Regina.
Okay, hi, everybody. Good to see everybody. And I want to say thank you to Teresa for texting me that we can go back on now. So thanks for that. And I screenshotted the numbers so that way I could get the reminders. I happen to be finishing up here at work, so I was able to just sit and jump in. When I started to get sick, it took me about a good 7 weeks to get better. And I'm still every now and again a little bit asthmatic. But I had the sorest throat. It was just hurting so bad. And I gargled with the On Guard gargle, and it went away by the next day. That really made a difference in healing my throat and that soreness and not turning it into something, you know, worse like strep throat or something. So I do believe in that On Guard mouthwash, my gosh. And the toothpaste that goes along with it, I use that into, you know, brushing my teeth. So I know I was always putting something in to fight that virus that's going around. I did try the, because I ran out of the On Guard toothpaste, and I did have a tube of both of them, the spearmint, the new one, and the On Guard. So I thought, well, I'm going to try the spearmint, which I loved it. I loved it. But I should have stuck with the On Guard one during that cold, because I think I would have gotten through that sooner, as well as diffusing it on my feet and, you know, everything else. I should have stuck with that, even brushing my teeth. But thanks, you guys. I have more testimonies, but I'll just leave it at that, and can't wait to be there next week.
Awesome, Regina. And yes, if you need help getting those text reminders, just let us know. The class reminders are really good to have, even for me. It's like tonight I was going, oh gosh, I got to get on. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
So just to recap on Regina really fast is I know a lot of people who've had different types of treatments for different ailments, and they've been able to use that mouthwash to calm down any of the sores and the, you know, the stuff that happens in the mouth around the gums, especially. So I think thinking outside the box, I love that you said you used it for a sore throat. And the benefit of that mouthwash is that there's no alcohol in it, and it is something that you can actually swallow. Now, of course, anytime you're swishing it around in your mouth for more than about 10 seconds, you're going to want to spit, because it's pulling things out of your gums and out of your mouth that you don't want to then swallow into your gut. So good stuff, Regina. Thank you so much. Let's go to Sarah real quick. Thank you for sharing. I love it when you guys are sharing all your stuff.
Thank you.
I'll talk real quick because I know we need to get off, but I just want to talk about TerraZyme. So I had a gal who had 15 bone spurs along her spine, and she started taking 8 to 10 TerraZyme a day, and she went back in 7 months, 1 week later, and she only had 2. So they literally were just breaking them down. So the TerraZyme, you guys, is an absolutely phenomenal thing for bone spurs that you would never think about.
Such a
Yeah.
great tip. I've had, my husband was actually using it, and for that same thing on his foot. And he said, really? Because I was like, you need to take at least, I had him doing 3-4 times a day, like kind of breaking them up, because I feel like when we break things up, when we do less more often, it's more effective than taking a handful of 10 at once. And you guys, it is true. Like, it's so awesome. And then he's making this chili. He's quite the cook. And he had this roast and it was pretty tough. And I was like, open up some TerraZyme and just kind of put it in there on that steak. And I said, I promise it's going to change the texture and the toughness of that steak. He's like, really? It just sounds kind of weird. So we did it. He had this little container of it. And so he opens it up and puts it on. And then I had a bowl without it. And we did a comparison. And you guys, within, I mean, we did it after it was cooked, which I would recommend putting it on the meat before you cook it. But anyway, it still worked and it was amazing. And it was really easy to chew up. He has a irritated tooth right now. And he's going, I can't even chew this. It hurts so bad. And I'm like, oh, let's just try it. So TerraZyme, you guys, is one of those things that you just really want to add to your supplement pack or add to your daily use. And it's pretty cool. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We have a series of 8 classes, like Jules told you earlier. You can get those text reminders. We'll also be able to have this available for replay. If you know somebody who needs to see it or would like to see it, reach out to the person who invited you here and ask them for the recording. Or if people have their own wholesale account with us, then they can see all of those replays in our Good Vibes Facebook group. Just search today or the date or the class or any of those different things, you'll be able to find it. Jules, thank you so much for bringing your A game and really teaching us why it is important to add lifelong vitality and the supplements and a good quality one. You can take pills all day long, but if they're not helping, if they're not bioavailable, if your body can't absorb them, it's worthless. You're just putting money down the drain. So let us help you get the best of the best and gosh, create the life that you love. And what you're saying, Jules?
It's a great day to have a great day on purpose.
That's right. Do it. Okay, you guys have a great night. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys. Thanks.
Bye.